Hi there, my name's Stephen Johnson from Stephen Johnson Photography, and today we have another of our TRG bio interviews. Today in the studio I have Richard Worsfold from the BrandonBox, and I'll leave him to tell you what he does. So please, Richard, state for the record your name, your company's name, and what it is that you do.
So I'm Richard Worsfold. I'm from BrandonBox, and BrandonBox is a branding agency. We look after our clients' brands to make sure they look consistently good across all sorts of media.
Perfect. So basically you're a graphic designer plus.
Graphic designer plus, yes.
Perfect, I like that. Okay, and how long have you been in business, Richard?
I've been in business for just coming up to 2 years now.
Yeah.
I launched in the middle, at the very start of the COVID pandemic, when my previous job, I suddenly thought, I need to do something now because I haven't got any work. And I did a lot of work previously in interior design, which is where lots of my graphics training comes in. So I was looking at, actually my neighbour was a graphic designer, and she said, I've put a bit of a portfolio online while I'm out of work and just seeing what's around. And I thought, you know what, that's a really good idea. I've got all of this interior graphics sort of stuff, and let's see what I can do with it. So a few months later, I had a number of clients. I think I just felt lucky in some certain Facebook groups, but yeah, started creating logos for people, and that developed into doing more stuff for their websites, printed media such as business cards, and then social media management.
Just going to say, because you also do social media management, which is a new thing, but that's becoming quite big, isn't it?
Yeah, and social media management I think is really useful for businesses where typically I hear, I'm too busy to do anything and I just can't keep on top of it.
Or they just do it badly.
Yes. Or I think the best one I hear normally is, I was told I need to post every day on social media, so I went hell for leather and posted for 3 weeks, and then I got bored of it and I've done nothing for 6 months.
Yeah.
That's one of the favourite things I hear all the time from people. So basically with social media management, our clients like it because I nag them halfway through the month for the content for the next month. We get it all created, signed off and sorted out, and then it's scheduled so that it rolls out over the month. Then the idea is they've got a regular amount of posts going on aimed at the sort of things that their business is doing in that month, but they can also then fill in with other bits. So if they want to go for their Instagram stories or their Facebook stories, they're quite welcome to sort of fill in with bits and pieces that they're up to, but they know that they've already got a structure there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's quite a lot of relationship between the two of us, both being in the creative industries, but there's never a truer saying than if you want something done professional, get a professional.
Definitely.
Don't necessarily try and do it yourself unless you know you've got those skills. What got you into the business in the first place, into the graphic design side of things, Richard?
I have always loved, actually, I wrote a blog on my story recently, and when I thought about it, I've always done bits of graphic design. It doesn't matter where I've been. I used to work part-time in a restaurant when I was at university. Somehow I managed to, I used to do all that graphic design in Word, which pains me now when I think about it. We used to create all sorts of flyers, table cards, things like that. So all of my life, everywhere where I've been like, somehow I've managed to create the graphics for that, or do PDFs for this, that and the other. So it's something I've always done. And I think with graphic design, if you've got a bit of an eye for, I really like consistency, and I like it to be nice and consistent. Everything's perfectly aligned, things like that. So I think if you've got that,
both of the same school there. I can tell
if
you.
you've got that, then you're halfway there with graphic design, because you can create something that looks good.
Yeah. But I mean, you wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't really like what you did. So that's excellent. And that's interesting, Richard. Thank you. And what do you feel is your USP?
So the USP at BrandonBox is that we really care about our clients' brands. A brand something to BrandonBox that is really important. It's the way you look to the outside world. It's everything that you do with your interaction with your customers. So we really care about them, and we're always going to say that we look after our clients' brands as good as we'll look after our own.
Excellent. I know the answer to this one, but because it's interesting that you're actually the current chairman of TRG. But how long have you been a member of TRG, and how well does it work for you?
So I've been a member of TRG only, coming up to 10 months, something like that. When no one would step up for chairman on the last rotation.
We've all done it.
They all ducked out the way. So I said I'll do it. Always like a little bit of a challenge, and I think having to find a new venue in the first month as chairman was probably the first challenge.
Most of us who've been chairman have been through that one.
I did think, why couldn't the last venue have said they couldn't accommodate us in December?
That's it.
When it wasn't me.
That's right. That's fascinating, Richard. Thank you. What is your perfect customer?
So my perfect customer is someone that really cares about how they look, how their business looks, how they come across to their clients or their customers. Someone that's really that cares about the business and wants it to look the best, and knows the value of using a branding agency to make sure that they actually do look really good. From the social media point of view, the perfect customer is a business that's really busy, they haven't got enough time to do it themselves, and again they see the value of good social media.
And getting someone who knows what they're doing to do it. That's exactly right. Richard, your business obviously covers a broad range of services, which you've discussed or mentioned already. What is your favourite kind of work and why?
It's probably looking at creating like a logo for someone. It might just be a small business I'm creating, they just want a little bit of a logo and a few brand colours, but actually sitting down with, well, I say blank sheet of paper, but we'll say a blank illustrated document, and just playing with ideas. Quite like a little, sometimes on a weekend, if I'm...
So it's the original creativity.
Being creative and sitting there Saturday afternoon if it's raining and I'm thinking, oh, you know what, I'm going to go and do some work, there's nothing to do.
Do you having a little bit of dabble in design myself, do you prefer it when a customer comes to you with a fixed idea of what they want, or they want your true creativity to give them something that they might not have thought of?
I like a little bit of both, and I think sometimes you get your customers, sometimes they really have their idea and they know what they want, and sometimes you think, what are we going to do with that? And I'm working on one at the moment actually. She came with an idea of a lotus flower for her therapy business, and I thought, I don't know about this and how it's going to work, and she sort of had a fixed design already, but luckily for me, it probably, she was on the tube in London and saw virtually her logo on someone else and said, my goodness, can't have it like that. So she said, right, let's just look at ideas and let's actually take the lotus flower, what else can we do? We've put a little bit of a line underneath, a couple of extra lines, and with a bit of tweaking of colours and things, we've actually got something that works really well that can be rolled out across business cards, a website, social media. And
it's consistency across all of those things. And having been in print most of my life in one form or another, having something that is relatively easy to print. Because some things it's almost impossible to print even now.
Yes, definitely. Things like adding shadow to things that you're going to print.
And graduated tints, all that kind of stuff can become a real nightmare.
You set yourself up for a huge fall.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a case of knowing when it's appropriate to add it and when it's not.
And font choice is always a big one.
And looking at it's funny because on the screen you're like, oh, that contrast works really well. And then I'll actually, even on social media posts, think, that looks really well on my big Mac and looks fab. When I then see it on my phone, and I'm dreadful for having my phone brightness really far down, I find that you think, oh, actually, those letters that I thought I could read, you can't. So I quite like to double check across the two things.
Absolutely, things have got to be able to...
Yeah,
it's consistently across all media, that's right. A little bit of personal stuff, if we may now, please, Richard. What is your personal family status? Married, still happy, engaged? So, do you have kids, pets, etc.?
I'm married with 2 Cocker Spaniels.
Those are the kids.
They're the kids.
Yeah.
We did have a cat, but she was quite aged, and so she's no longer with us. But 2 12-year-old Spaniel and 5-year-old.
Tell us all a little something about yourself that most people wouldn't know.
I've been lucky in my life because I was cabin crew for quite a number of years, but I have managed to go to all sorts of far-flung places of the world, such as Easter Island, perhaps it's meant to be the calmest island in the world. I ended up there in a weekend of riots. Mongolia, places like that.
What airline did you used to work for?
I worked for TUI.
Cool. Richard, what do you like to do in your spare time?
With having 2 dogs, it's definitely taking the dogs out. We've got a Victorian cottage that we renovated, so you can generally say there's some work around the cottage to do, because buying a Victorian building, there's always something coming through.
Absolutely. Thank you, Richard. And why should someone out there hire you to do their design work for them?
Because I care about the outcome. A lot of my clients come to me and they say, "Oh, I don't know where to start with this. I don't know what to do with this." And at BrandonBox, one of my big things is that actually we care and we're going to hold your hand through it, make sure you get exactly what you want. So I say to lots of my clients, if you get a few months down the line and you find out I've done some logo branding work for you, you find, oh, actually I need it in a slightly different size or a slightly different format, just let me know and I'll sort it out, because I would rather take half an hour to sort something out than your image not look very good on some obscure social media platform, which will house, for interior designers, wants an awful lot of space around the logo for some reason, but you have to have it in your brand colour, but you actually need your logo really small in the middle. So things like that, I always say, come back to me and we'll make sure it's right.
Sure. What do you feel is the best advice you can give to someone who is coming to you for your design services or your social media services?
Be consistent with what you do. And I said this yesterday, and I thought it's so true. If you're creating social media posts for you or content for yourself, the temptation is to have your logo in 20 different sizes, all sorts of different things. Keep things really narrow and really tight, so have a maximum of 2 or 3 sizes of your logo or your icon that you use, and stick to that, because you'll get a nice consistency, which when you look at your posts compared to before you did that, you'll see how much more professional they look. And
sure.
Really help.
And it can get confusing if there are too many variations. Yeah. You don't need to go into any great detail on this, because I will be putting up a contact card at the end of this video with all of Richard's contact details. But what is your preferred method of first contact?
Probably send me an email.
Simple as that?
Yeah, really simple.
But I doubt if you'll reject anything.
Send me an email, and it'd be good to catch up and have a chat about what your ideas are, what you need help with.
That's lovely. Richard Worsfold, that is you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.